Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. 2026 is not just another year, it is the year of transformation. It is the year where what you do in private, when no one is watching, will define the legacy you leave when everyone is paying attention. Mastery does not come from noise. Mastery does not come from constant validation or the applause of the crowd. Mastery comes from silence. Yes, silence. Quiet space where your mind is free from distraction. That sacred moment where you hear your own thoughts without interruption. The world is loud, full of opinions, full of chaos, and it is easy to be swept away. But those who master themselves, those who rise above reaction, they are the ones who succeed. When you choose silence, you choose clarity. You see the patterns others miss. You hear the whispers of opportunity that others drown out in chatter. You develop patience, resilience, and discipline. You sharpen your focus. And when you speak, it is not to fill the air, it is to impact the world. 2026 demands that you become intentional, that you stop chasing every notification, every fleeting trend, every superficial conversation, that you guard your mind, guard your heart, and guard your vision. In silence, you find your true power. In stillness, you find your true self. So, master your thoughts before they master you. Master your emotions before they control your actions. Master your time before it slips through your fingers. The world rush around you. Let the noise grow, but stay grounded, stay disciplined, stay silent, and watch as your life, your purpose, and your destiny unfold with unstoppable force. In a world that never stops talking, where every second is filled with notification, messages, opinions, distractions, silence has become rare. And yet it is in silence that clarity is born. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is the presence of focus, awareness, and understanding. It is the environment in which your mind can sort through the chaos, filter through the noise, and arrive at the truth that often lies hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. When you embrace silence, you give yourself the chance to think clearly. You give your mind space to breathe, to untangle the clutter of thoughts that accumulate each day. Consider how often you make decisions on autopilot, reacting to what others are saying or doing. Often, these decisions are clouded by emotion, stress, the influence of people who have no understanding of your purpose. But in silence, you can step back. You can observe your own thoughts without judgment, without influence, without pressure. You begin to see patterns that were invisible in the noise, patterns that reveal the root of your problems and the seeds of your opportunities. Clarity does not come from constant talking or constant movement. It comes from stillness. It comes from the willingness to sit with yourself and confront your own mind, even when it is uncomfortable. Many people fear silence because in silence, they are forced to face themselves. In silence, they are forced to confront the gaps between who they are and who they want to become. But it is precisely in that confrontation where growth begins. It is in silence that the mind separates fact from fiction, reality from illusion, and truth from distraction. When the world is loud, you are at risk of being swept along by the current. You are at risk of losing your vision, your direction, and your purpose. Noise can make small problems feel like mountains, and it can make opportunities invisible. Silence, however, allows you to recalibrate. It gives you the ability to prioritize, to weigh your options, and to see the road ahead clearly. When you are silent, you are not idle. You are intentional. You are preparing yourself to act with wisdom and precision rather than reacting out of confusion or fear. Silence also brings emotional clarity. Often do we react impulsively to situations only to regret our words or actions later? How often do we allow our emotions, anger, fear, jealousy, impatience to dictate our behavior? When you cultivate silence, you create a space between stimulus and response. You create the gap where reason and wisdom can enter. In that quiet space, you can observe your emotions, understand why you feel the way you feel, choose a response that aligns with your values and your goals. Silence gives you control over yourself, and in control lies power. Moreover, silence sharpens your perception. In the quiet, you begin to notice things you would otherwise overlook. You notice opportunities that others miss because they are too busy talking, comparing, or reacting. You notice the nuances in conversations, subtle signs that guide your decisions. You begin to hear your own intuition, the inner voice that often gets drowned out by the opinions of others. Inner voice is where clarity resides, and it can only be heard when you step away from the noise and allow yourself to listen. Silence is also a tool for problem solving. When faced with challenges, many people panic, overreact, or seek advice from too many sources, which only clouds their judgment. But when you embrace silence, you allow your mind to process the problem fully. You can consider solutions from multiple angles, weigh consequences, and envision outcomes. Silence fosters creativity because it allows ideas to grow without interruption. It allows innovation to flourish because the mind is free to explore possibilities without external pressure. Every great inventor, thinker, leader has understood the power of silence. They understood that clarity is not given. It is earned, cultivated in the quiet moments of reflection. Silence also strengthens your relationships, though it may seem counterintuitive. By embracing silence, you learn to listen. Truly listen. In conversations, people often wait for their turn to speak, focusing on their own responses instead of understanding the other person. But when you master silence, you learn to be present. You hear what is said and what is unsaid. You notice tone, intention, and emotion. You understand people more deeply, and you respond with thoughtfulness rather than reaction. Clarity in communication comes from listening in silence before you speak. Furthermore, silence cultivates humility. It reminds you that you do not have to prove yourself constantly. It reminds you that not every thought, every opinion, every feeling must be broadcast to the world. In silence, you learn that your worth is not measured by how loud you are, how often you are heard, how much attention you command. True power lies in your ability to master yourself, to know your purpose, and to act with intention. Silence allows you to discover your own strength, your own convictions, and your own vision without being influenced by the constant chatter of the world. And let us not forget the spiritual clarity that comes from silence. In quiet moments, you connect with something greater than yourself. Whether you call it God, the universe, or your higher purpose, in that stillness, you find guidance, comfort, and reassurance. You are reminded that life is not about rushing, constant achievement, or about external validation. Life is about alignment between your actions, your intentions, and your purpose. Silence allows you to hear that alignment clearly so you can walk your path with confidence and determination. So embrace silence. Do not fear it. Seek it out every day. Start small, a few minutes in the morning before the chaos begins, a few moments in the evening to reflect on the day. As you grow comfortable in silence, you will discover a new level of clarity. Decisions will become easier. Opportunities will become clearer. Your purpose will become undeniable. In the silence, you find yourself. In clarity, you find power. And in power, you find the ability to master your life. The world is loud, but you do not have to be. The world is chaotic, but your mind can be calm. The world is busy, but your vision can be focused. Silence is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is not weakness. It is strength. And it is in that strength, nurtured by silence, that clarity emerges, transforming your life in ways you never imagined. Success isn't never born in public. It is never crafted on stages in applause or through the eyes of spectators. True success is forged in private, in the moments no one sees. It is born in early mornings when the world is still asleep. It is born in late nights when the lights are out and the distractions have faded. It is born in repetition, in persistence, in the effort you make when no one is watching. Many people believe that success is immediate, that it comes with recognition, with praise, with instant results. But this is a lie the world tells to distract you from the truth. The truth is that success begins long before anyone knows your name, before anyone applauds your achievements. It begins in the quiet, private effort that is consistent, intentional, and relentless. Private effort is the foundation upon which public success stands. Every skill you master, every habit you build, every ounce of discipline you cultivate, these are invisible investments that accumulate over time. And when the moment comes for your success to be revealed, It will not appear miraculous. It will appear inevitable because the work has already been done silently, persistently, and deliberately. Think about athletes, artists, or leaders who inspire the world. You see the trophy, the performance, the speech, or the victory. But what you do not see is the sweat, the rejection, the setbacks, and the sacrifices that occurred long before the public ever witnessed their triumph. Those who achieve greatness understand the sacredness of private effort. They know that no shortcuts exist. They know that the grind is lonely, but it is in that loneliness that character is built, resilience is tested, and mastery is developed. Private effort also teaches patience. When you work in silence, you are not looking for immediate validation. You are not motivated by likes, shares, or applause. You are motivated by your own standards, by your own vision, by the knowledge that what you do today will bear fruit tomorrow. This patience is a critical component of public success because when the world finally takes notice, it does so at the perfect time. When you are fully prepared, when your skills are honed, and when your capacity to succeed matches the opportunity. Moreover, private effort creates authenticity. When your achievements are the result of your own hard work, not external pressure or expectation, you carry them with confidence and integrity. You know the value of your struggle, the cost of your persistence, and the depth of your commitment. Public success built on private effort is never hollow. It is never fragile. It is grounded in reality, in effort, and in discipline. People are drawn to authenticity because it resonates. They can feel the energy, the preparation, and the truth behind your accomplishments. Private effort also builds mental toughness. When you work alone, you face your weaknesses directly. You confront your doubts, your fears, your procrastination. You develop resilience because you learn to push forward even when the world is silent, even when recognition is absent, even when the only voice cheering you on is your own. Public success often depends not on talent alone, but on this inner strength. The ability to keep going when no one is watching. Failure seems easier than effort when giving up would be tempting. Another critical element is focus. In private effort, distractions are minimized. You can focus on what truly matters, on the small steps that compound over time into extraordinary results. The world wants to distract you, to pull your attention away, to sell you on the illusion of shortcuts and instant gratification. But private effort allows you to resist these temptations, to prioritize what is essential, and to align your actions with your vision. Every hour spent in discipline, intentional work is an investment in a future that the public will eventually recognize and admire. Private effort also teaches humility. When your work is unseen, when no one is applauding, you learn to value process over recognition. You learn to measure progress internally, not externally. You learn to embrace the journey, even when the outcome is uncertain. This humility is essential because when public success arrives, it will be accompanied by attention, praise, and sometimes envy. The strong, disciplined person knows that success is not measured by applause, but by consistency and the ability to continue performing even when no one is watching. Consider the compounding effect of private effort. Small, consistent actions over time lead to monumental results. Learning a skill, perfecting a craft, developing discipline, building habits, these are invisible processes that, when accumulated, create unstoppable momentum. The person who invests in themselves quietly, diligently, consistently will one day walk into a room of recognition and opportunity, fully prepared to receive it. Public success, then, is not sudden. It is the natural consequence of persistent private effort. Finally, private effort creates resilience against failure. Public success exposes you to scrutiny, criticism, and expectation. When you have done the work in private, when you have tested yourself, fallen, risen countless times alone, you are prepared for the challenges that public life will bring. You are unshaken by setbacks because you understand the process. You are confident because you know your preparation is genuine, and this confidence will carry you through the most difficult moments, ensuring that your public success is not fleeting but enduring. Embrace your private effort. Protect it, cherish it, guard your focus, your discipline, and your time. Let the world chase recognition. Let the world seek applause. Let the world look for shortcuts. You, however, will commit to the long game, the game that is won in quiet rooms, early mornings and late nights. Every sacrifice, every repetition, every hour invested in your growth in private is a seed that will bloom into public success. The world may never see your effort. That is not the point. The point is that your effort is building your foundation, your resilience, and your power. When the world finally recognizes your success, it will not be by chance. It will be because you were faithful in private when no one was watching. That is the secret of every great life, every enduring achievement, and every unstoppable person who has ever walked this earth. Private effort creates public success. Guard it. Commit to it. Know that the results will come not because the world rewards noise, but because the universe honors preparation, consistency, and relentless determination. In today's world, distraction is everywhere. It is relentless, constant, and cunning. It comes in the form of notifications, social media, messages, content, and demands of other people's agendas. Distraction is loud, flashy, and seductive. It tempts you to chase every shiny object, react impulsively, and to allow your focus to scatter in 1,000 directions. But discipline, that inner strength that allows you to resist the noise, is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Discipline over distraction is not just a habit, it is a lifestyle, a mindset, and a superpower. Distraction is everywhere because the world wants to pull you away from your purpose. It wants to keep you busy, entertained, and reactive. It wants to drown out your inner voice, the voice that tells you what you are capable of achieving, the voice that whispers your potential and your vision. Discipline is the force that allows you to rise above this chaos. Discipline is what keeps you aligned with your goals, even when the world is pulling you in every other direction. It is what allows you to prioritize what matters over what is urgent, substance over noise, and long-term growth over short-term gratification. Consider the power of focus. When you are disciplined, you can direct your energy toward what truly matters. Every action becomes intentional. Every effort compounds. Discipline allows you to allocate your time, your attention, and your energy toward meaningful pursuits. Distraction, on the other hand, scatters your energy, leaving you exhausted, unfulfilled, and frustrated. Without discipline, your life is a series of reactions, responding to the demands of others, chasing validation, and moving at the pace of the world rather than your own purpose. With discipline, however, you move with intention, you control your direction, you become the master of your time and the architect of your life. Discipline over distraction also shapes your character. It is in the moments of resistance, when you say no to what is convenient but unproductive, choose focus over immediate gratification, that your strength is built. Every decision to remain disciplined is a vote for the life you want to create. Every act of self-control is an investment in your future. Discipline is not easy. It is uncomfortable. It requires you to delay pleasure, resist temptation, stay committed even when no one is watching. But it is this discomfort that creates the depth of your character and the power of your results. Distraction thrives on instant gratification. It wants you to consume endlessly, to compare yourself to others, and to feel busy without being productive. It wants you to confuse motion with progress. But discipline teaches the difference between what is urgent and what is important. It allows you to create routines that maximize your productivity, habits that reinforce your goals, and a mindset that prioritizes value over novelty. Discipline is the framework within which greatness is achieved. It is the container that holds your energy, your time, and your efforts in alignment with your vision. When you choose discipline over distraction, you gain control over your mind. Your thoughts, your emotions, actions begin to work in harmony. Distraction fractures your focus and clouds your judgment. It leads to impulsive decisions, regret, wasted potential. Discipline, however, strengthens your mental clarity. It allows you to assess opportunities objectively, to act decisively, to remain consistent even when progress is slow. Discipline builds resilience because it requires you to keep going even when the path is hard. The results are invisible, and the world is full of interruptions. Discipline over distraction also empowers you to create boundaries. In a world where everyone expects immediate attention and instant response, discipline gives you the courage to protect your time and your energy. It allows you to say no without guilt, to prioritize your goals without apology, and to focus on your vision without being derailed by the noise of others' expectations. These boundaries are essential because they preserve the space in which your discipline can flourish. They prevent the world from dictating your priorities and allow you to move steadily toward your desired outcomes. Moreover, discipline over distraction is the difference between ordinary results and extraordinary impact. The person who is disciplined invests in themselves consistently. They show up when it matters. They complete what they start. They resist the temptation to abandon projects at the first sign of difficulty. Because they remain consistent, their results compound over time. The person who gives in to distraction is scattered, inconsistent, and reactive. Potential remains untapped because their energy is fragmented and their focus is diluted. The disciplined person, however, becomes unstoppable because they have trained themselves to stay the course. Discipline also allows you to master your emotions. Distraction often feeds on your impulses and triggers. It encourages you to react emotionally rather than strategically. Discipline gives you the pause between stimulus and response. It teaches you to assess situations calmly, think critically, and act intentionally. This emotional mastery strengthens your decision making and positions you for success that is both sustainable and meaningful. Finally, discipline over distraction is about self-respect. Every choice to stay disciplined, to resist the pull of what is unnecessary or unproductive, is a declaration that you value your time, your energy, and your life. You are telling yourself in the world that your goals matter, your vision is worth protecting, and that you will not be derailed by trivialities. Discipline is not about deprivation. It is about empowerment. It is about choosing what aligns with your purpose over what gratifies temporarily. It is about becoming the person capable of achieving the extraordinary by mastering the ordinary every single day. So commit to discipline. Build it as a habit, reinforce it as a mindset, and protect it as your superpower. Identify the distractions in your life, confront them, and remove them from your environment. Create routines that reinforce focus, prioritize tasks that move you closer to your goals, set boundaries that safeguard your energy. And remember, the results will not always be immediate, but they will be inevitable. Discipline compounds, it multiplies. And when the world is caught up in chaos, confusion, and distraction, you will stand firm, productive, and unstoppable. Discipline over distraction is the key to mastering your life. It is the difference between wasted potential and unstoppable achievement. It is the secret behind every great success, every fulfilled vision, every person who rises above the noise to create a life of purpose and impact. Your mind is the battlefield of your life. Every action, every choice, every decision originates from a single place of your thoughts. What you think determines how you feel, how you act, and ultimately who you become. Yet, most people wander through life as if their thoughts are random visitors, as if they have no control over the ideas and impulses that cross their minds. To master your life, you must first master your thoughts. Without this mastery, you will be a slave to circumstance, to fear, to doubt, and to the opinions of others. But when you learn to command your thoughts, your mind becomes a fortress, your focus becomes unstoppable, your potential becomes limitless. Mastering your thoughts begins with awareness. You cannot control what you do not notice. Too often, people allow their minds to run on autopilot, reacting to every stimulus, every word, every challenge without pause or consideration. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, anxiety, and fear slip in unnoticed, shaping your choices in ways you do not even realize. But awareness, true, disciplined awareness allows you to observe your mind. You begin to notice the patterns, the recurring fears, the subtle self-sabotage. Awareness is the first step toward mastery because it gives you the power to choose which thoughts to nourish and which to reject. Once you are aware, the next step is discipline. Just as you would train your body through exercise, your mind must be trained through practice. Every day, you must actively decide which thoughts you allow to grow and which you cut off. When fear whispers, you must speak courage. When doubt arises, you must assert confidence. When negativity tempts you to stagnate, you must choose optimism and forward motion. This is not easy. It is not natural. But mastery requires repetition, persistence, and the courage to confront your own mental habits. Every thought you control strengthens your mind and builds the resilience necessary for success. Mastering your thoughts also means taking responsibility. You must understand that your mind is the source of your reality. If you think you are powerless, weak, or incapable, you will act accordingly, and your life will reflect that belief. But if you think in terms of possibility, strength, and growth, your actions will align with those beliefs, and your life will expand in response. Your thoughts are seeds, and the harvest is determined by the quality of the seeds you plant. Every moment spent nurturing fear, doubt, or anger is a moment spent planting obstacles. Every moment spent cultivating courage, focus. Vision is a moment spent preparing for triumph. Mastery of thought is mastery of life. It is essential to guard your mind from external influences that weaken your control. Social media, gossip, toxic relationships, constant comparison feed your mind with ideas that do not serve your growth. They plant seeds of distraction, envy, and insecurity. Mastering your thoughts requires the courage to filter what enters your mental space. You must decide whose voices matter and whose opinions are irrelevant. You must protect your mental environment with the same vigilance that a general protects a battlefield. The more you guard your mind, powerful your thoughts become, and the clearer your path to success. Visualization is a powerful tool in mastering your thoughts. What you focus on in your mind will manifest in your actions. Athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders understand this principle intuitively. They imagine their success, rehearse their victories in their minds, act in the world as though those victories are inevitable. Your thoughts create your reality because they shape your perception and influence your behavior. Mastering your thoughts means training yourself to visualize success, to rehearse perseverance, and to affirm the outcome you desire long before it appears in the physical world. Equally important is the practice of reframing. Life will bring challenges, setbacks, and disappointments. Your mind will want to interpret these moments as failures or confirmations of limitation. Mastery of thought requires you to see obstacles not as threats but as opportunities. It requires you to extract lessons, to adjust strategies, and to maintain belief in your capacity to overcome. The same circumstances can produce fear in one person and determination in another. The difference is the mastery of thought. One person allows circumstance to dominate their mind. The other commands their mind to dominate circumstance. Mastery of thought also involves emotional control. Thoughts are inseparable from emotion. If you allow negative thoughts to dominate, they will trigger fear, anxiety, and discouragement, which in turn dictate your actions. If you cultivate positive, disciplined, and focused thoughts, they will generate confidence, courage, and clarity. You must recognize the connection between what you think and how you feel, and use it to your advantage. By directing your thoughts, you are not merely controlling your mind, you are controlling your emotions and ultimately your destiny. Consistency is crucial. Mastering your thoughts is not a one-time event, it is a daily practice. It requires reflection, repetition, and relentless commitment. Every morning, you must choose the mindset with which you will approach the day. Every challenge must be met with deliberate thought rather than impulsive reaction. Every conversation, decision, and action must be filtered through the lens of disciplined thinking. Over time, this consistent practice rewires your mind, strengthens your focus, and ensures that your thoughts serve your vision rather than sabotage it. Finally, mastering your thoughts requires courage. It is easier to blame others, to succumb to fear, to indulge in self-doubt. Courage is the refusal to surrender control of your mind to circumstance or to the loud voices around you. Courage is the daily commitment to direct your thoughts toward growth, action, and purpose. It is the understanding that your mind is a kingdom. You are the ruler. Every thought you master is a victory. Every moment of mental clarity is a triumph. And when your mind is disciplined, your life becomes unstoppable. So take control, watch your thoughts, filter them, nurture the ones that serve you. Reject the ones that limit you. Train your mind daily with intention, courage, and clarity. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny, the fuel of your actions, the blueprint of your life. Master them, and you master yourself. Master them, and you set the stage for extraordinary achievement in 2026 and beyond. Master them, and you become unstoppable. Your emotions are powerful. They can lift you to heights you never imagined or pull you down into depths you never thought you could endure. They are not just feelings. They are forces that drive your decisions, shape your relationships, and determine the trajectory of your life. Yet, most people allow their emotions to control them, to dictate their actions, and to define their outcomes. To master your life, you must first master your emotions. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing feelings or pretending you are unaffected by the world. It is about understanding, channeling, directing your emotions so that they serve your purpose rather than sabotage it. Emotions are like fire. Fire can warm a home, cook a meal, and provide light in the darkness. But fire can also destroy, consume, and leave ruin in its path. Similarly, emotions can inspire courage, creativity, connection, or they can ignite anger, fear, and regret. The difference lies in mastery. When you master your emotions, you become the one controlling the fire, not the fire controlling you. You choose when to burn, when to illuminate, and when to remain still. You become the architect of your life rather than a prisoner of your feelings. The first step in mastering your emotions is awareness. You cannot control what you do not recognize. Many people live in reaction mode, responding impulsively to triggers without understanding why. A word spoken, situation encountered, a challenge faced, all of these provoke automatic emotional responses that often lead to actions they later regret. Awareness means pausing long enough to notice the emotional currents within you. It means naming the feelings, understanding their origins, acknowledging their presence without judgment. Awareness is the foundation of control because it gives you the space to respond rather than react. Once awareness is established, the next step is understanding. Every emotion has a source and a message. Fear may be signaling a risk, but it may also be amplifying insecurity. Anger may be highlighting an injustice, but it may also be feeding impatience. Frustration may be a call for change, but it may also be magnifying obstacles unnecessarily. When you master your emotions, you learn to listen to these signals without letting them dictate your behavior. You discern which emotions are useful guides and which are deceptive distractions. Emotional mastery is not the absence of feeling. It is the wisdom to interpret and apply those feelings in alignment with your goals and values. Discipline plays a critical role in emotional mastery. Your emotions are powerful, but they are not infallible. Left unchecked, they can lead to impulsive decisions, fractured relationships, and missed opportunities. Discipline allows you to establish the gap between stimulus and response. It gives you the ability to pause, reflect, and choose the action that aligns with your long-term vision rather than succumbing to short-term impulses. Discipline transforms emotions from reactive forces into strategic tools. It allows you to act with clarity even when your heart is racing, your mind is agitated, the world is chaotic. Mastering your emotions also requires perspective. Life will test you. Challenges will arise. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will frustrate you, and outcomes will not always match your expectations. In these moments, your emotional response determines your resilience. Will you collapse under the weight of disappointment, or will you rise with renewed strength? Will you allow anger to cloud your judgment? Will you channel it into constructive action? Perspective allows you to separate the transient intensity of an emotion from the long-term impact of your choices. It is the lens through which emotional mastery becomes possible. Equally important is the practice of self-regulation. Emotional mastery is not passive, it is active. It involves consistent, deliberate effort to shape your responses, to manage stress, to maintain composure under pressure. Meditation, reflection, journaling, and mindful breathing are practical tools that reinforce this regulation. But beyond technique, self-regulation is about commitment, the commitment to not allow temporary emotions to dictate permanent outcomes. It is about choosing patience over reaction, understanding over impulse, and calm over chaos. Emotional mastery also strengthens relationships. People who can manage their emotions communicate more effectively, respond with empathy, and resolve conflicts with wisdom. They do not let anger destroy a friendship or fear sabotage a partnership. They listen before reacting, respond thoughtfully, and build trust because others sense their emotional stability. When you master your emotions, your presence becomes a stabilizing force in every room, every conversation, and every interaction. Your emotions no longer control you. They enhance your influence. Moreover, mastering your emotions amplifies your decision-making. Emotions provide data. They reveal what matters to you, what threatens you, and what inspires you. But decisions made purely from emotional impulses are often flawed. Emotional mastery allows you to integrate feelings with reason, intuition with logic, and passion with strategy. You make decisions that are informed, balanced, and aligned with your goals. Your actions become deliberate rather than reactive, ensuring that the trajectory of your life is intentional and progressive. Resilience is another gift of emotional mastery. Life will not always be fair. Setbacks, failures, and challenges are inevitable. But when your emotions are under your command, you recover faster. You do not spiral into despair or wallow in frustration. Instead, you acknowledge the setback, process the associated emotions, and move forward with renewed focus. Emotional mastery transforms adversity from a threat into a teacher, from an obstacle into an opportunity, and from a moment of pain into a platform for growth. Finally, emotional mastery is a declaration of self-mastery. To control your emotions is to control yourself. It is to affirm that your life will not be dictated by circumstance, by other people, or by fleeting feelings. It is a commitment to your purpose, your vision, and your potential. The person who masters their emotions is unstoppable, not because they feel nothing, because they feel with power, purpose, and clarity. They turn passion into productivity, frustration into focus, and fear into fuel. So, commit to mastering your emotions. Observe them, understand them, regulate them, and channel them. Do not let anger, fear, or doubt dictate your destiny. Use your emotions as allies, not enemies. When you master your emotions, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, nothing in 2026 or beyond can stand in your way. Your life becomes intentional, your impact becomes undeniable, and your power becomes unstoppable. To live intentionally is to live with purpose. It is to recognize that every thought, every action, every choice has weight and consequence. Too many people move through life as if it is a series of random events reacting to circumstance rather than creating their own reality. They drift from one task to another, from one relationship to another, without a clear sense of direction or priority. But those who choose to live intentionally understand a fundamental truth: life does not happen to you. It happens through you. And the life you live will be a direct reflection of the choices you make, the focus you maintain, and the purpose you embrace. Intentional living begins with clarity of vision. You cannot act with intention if you do not know what you are aiming for. You must define your goals, your values, and your priorities. You must ask yourself the hard questions. Who am I? What do I stand for? What do I want to achieve in 2026 and beyond? Intentional living requires a clear roadmap, a conscious understanding of where you are going, and unwavering commitment to the path you have chosen. Without clarity, life becomes a reaction, a series of coincidences rather than a crafted masterpiece. Every action matters when you live intentionally. The small choices you make every day compound over time. Waking up on time, exercising discipline in your work, choosing positivity over negativity, investing in relationships, and dedicating time to growth. These are not trivial acts. They are the building blocks of your destiny. Intentional living requires recognizing the significance of these moments. It means asking yourself before every decision, does this move me closer to my goal, or does it pull me away? The person who lives intentionally does not waste time on what is meaningless or unproductive. They act with purpose, focus, determination. Living intentionally also requires self-awareness. You must understand your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, and your tendencies. You must know what energizes you and what drains you. Self-awareness allows you to make choices that align with your authentic self and avoid decisions driven by habit, peer pressure, or external expectation. When you are aware of yourself, your goals, and your purpose, you can live intentionally rather than drifting in response to the currents of life. Discipline is inseparable from intentional living. To live intentionally, you must control your actions, habits, and impulses. Life will always present distractions, temptations, and challenges that pull you off course. It will demand your attention for matters that are urgent but not important. Discipline allows you to prioritize what truly matters, to stay consistent, to act with focus even when the path is difficult. Without discipline, intention is meaningless. It remains an idea, never manifesting into tangible results. But with discipline, every intentional choice compounds, creating momentum and progress that is unstoppable. Intentional living also means embracing responsibility. You cannot blame circumstances, other people, or luck for where you are in life. Every choice, every action, every moment of inaction is yours. To live intentionally is to own your life completely, to take full responsibility for the results you produce. This can be uncomfortable because it removes excuses, but it is also empowering. Responsibility transforms you from a victim of circumstance into a master of your destiny. When you live intentionally, you do not wait for opportunity, you create it. You do not hope for change, you engineer it. Another essential element of intentional living is prioritization. The world will constantly demand your attention, but not every demand aligns with your purpose. Living intentionally requires the courage to say no, to eliminate the distractions, the non-essential tasks, and the relationships that drain your energy or divert your focus. Prioritization ensures that your time, energy, and resources are invested in areas that will yield the greatest impact. It is a deliberate strategy, conscious act of aligning what you do with what truly matters. Intentional living also enhances resilience. Life is unpredictable and setbacks are inevitable. When your actions are grounded in intention, every challenge becomes a lesson, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone, and every failure becomes an opportunity to learn and grow. Intentional people do not wander aimlessly in despair. They navigate adversity with purpose, clarity, and determination. Their choices are guided by vision rather than emotion, and this focus allows them to persevere when others would give up. Relationships are also shaped by intentional living. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, energy you give to others all matter. Intentional living requires cultivating relationships that align with your growth, support your purpose, and reinforce your values. It requires avoiding toxic connections, prioritizing meaningful interactions, and communicating with honesty and authenticity. Living intentionally in your relationships, you not only elevate yourself, but also elevate those around you. Finally, intentional living is a mindset, a daily commitment to live deliberately, with focus and with purpose. It is a rejection of mediocrity, distraction, passivity. It is the understanding that your life is not a rehearsal and every moment is an opportunity to create the reality you desire. Intentional living transforms ordinary routines into powerful rituals, mundane tasks into purposeful actions, and fleeting moments into lasting achievements. When you live intentionally, your energy is concentrated, your impact is magnified, and your life becomes a reflection of deliberate design rather than random chance. So, commit to intentional living. Define your vision. Prioritize your actions. Guard your time and energy. Make choices that align with your purpose. Take responsibility for every outcome. Cultivate self-awareness, discipline, and focus. Live each day with clarity, courage, and direction. Intentional living is not a suggestion. It is a necessity for anyone who desires to master themselves, achieve extraordinary results, and leave a legacy that cannot be ignored. When you choose to live intentionally, you step into a life of purpose and power. You no longer drift with the tides of circumstance. You no longer react impulsively to the noise of the world. Instead, you move with focus, act with intention, create with unwavering determination. Every action, every thought, every decision becomes a deliberate step toward your destiny. Intentional living is your path to mastery, your vehicle for success, and your gateway to fulfillment. Live intentionally and watch as your life, your achievements, and your influence in 2026 and beyond rise to levels you once only imagined. Your purpose will become undeniable, your impact unstoppable, and your legacy lasting. In a world that never stops moving, stillness has become a rare and underrated power. Everywhere you look, people are rushing, reacting, multitasking, and filling every moment with noise. Yet the greatest leaders, thinkers, and achievers throughout history have understood a fundamental truth. Power, clarity, and insight are cultivated not in chaos, but in stillness. Stillness is not inactivity. It is presence. It is focus. It is the space in which your mind, your spirit, and your purpose align. To master yourself in 2026, you must learn to harness the power of stillness. Stillness allows you to see what others cannot. When you pause, when you step away from the constant motion of life, your mind begins to filter through the noise. You notice patterns, opportunities, and truths that are invisible in the chaos. The world's distractions, the pressure of expectations, endless demands of others can cloud your vision, leaving you reactive and unfocused. But in stillness, clarity emerges. You can think deeply, evaluate honestly, and make decisions with precision. Stillness is the lens that reveals the reality behind the illusion, the truth beneath the surface, path forward when everyone else is rushing blindly. Stillness is also the birthplace of strategy. In moments of noise, action often becomes reaction. People act impulsively, chasing the urgent rather than the important. They respond to every crisis, every message, every demand, without considering the long-term consequences. Stillness allows you to step back and assess the situation. It allows you to weigh options, anticipate outcomes, act intentionally rather than reactively. The most powerful decisions are rarely made in haste. They are forged in the quiet moments of contemplation, reflection, and inner focus. Moreover, stillness strengthens your emotional control. Life will throw challenges, setbacks, and provocations your way. Without stillness, your emotions can take control, leading to rash actions, regret, and conflict. But when you cultivate stillness, you create the space to observe your feelings without being consumed by them. You learn to respond rather than react, to act with wisdom rather than impulse. Emotional mastery is rooted in stillness because it allows you to pause, assess, and act from a place of balance and clarity. The person who is still under pressure remains in control, while the reactive person is carried away by emotion. Stillness is a conduit for self-awareness. When you slow down and embrace quiet, you confront yourself. You hear your own thoughts, acknowledge your desires, and confront your fears. This self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth. Without it, you are like a ship drifting without a compass, vulnerable to every wave, current, and storm. With it, you chart your own course, make conscious choices, and navigate life with purpose. Stillness allows you to recognize who you are, what you value, and what you must do to become the person you are meant to be. The power of stillness also lies in its ability to amplify focus. In stillness, distractions fade, and your mind can concentrate on what truly matters. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every masterpiece begins with focus. Yet focus is impossible in a constant state of chaos. When you embrace stillness, you are able to dedicate your full attention to the task at hand, to the challenge before you, and to the vision you are pursuing. Stillness allows your energy to be concentrated rather than scattered, turning effort into impact and intention into results. Stillness is a sanctuary for creativity. Ideas, solutions, and innovation rarely emerge in frantic noise. They are born in quiet reflection. When your mind is still, connections form, insights arise, and inspiration flows. The creative mind requires space to breathe, to explore, and to imagine without interference. By embracing stillness, you unlock the power to create, innovate, and problem solve in ways that are impossible in a state of constant motion. Stillness is the incubator of brilliance, quiet engine behind every great idea. Stillness is also a source of resilience. Life will challenge you, test you, and push you to your limits. Without stillness, stress and pressure can overwhelm you, cloud your judgment, and drain your energy. But stillness allows you to regroup, recharge, and recalibrate. It is the pause that restores strength, the calm that restores perspective, and the quiet that restores confidence. When you are still, you are not idle. You are preparing, strategizing, and strengthening yourself for the battles ahead. Resilience grows in stillness because you are able to face life's storms from a place of inner stability rather than external chaos. Spiritual and mental clarity is another gift of stillness. In still moments, you connect with your inner self, your purpose, and for those who believe, a higher power. The distractions of the world can drown out this connection, leaving you reactive and unfocused. Stillness creates the environment in which intuition, insight, and guidance can be heard. It allows you to understand your direction, reaffirm your values, align your actions with your vision. In stillness, you find the guidance that is obscured in the noise of the world. Stillness is also a practice of mastery. It requires discipline to resist the urge to fill every moment with activity, conversation, or distraction. It is countercultural in a world that values speed, visibility, and constant engagement. But those who embrace stillness cultivate power, wisdom, and authority. They do not rush to react. They pause to understand. They do not chase validation. They cultivate self-assurance. They do not act out of impulse. They act with purpose. Stillness becomes a force multiplier, enhancing your focus, your clarity, and your impact in every area of life. To harness the power of stillness, you must make it intentional. Start with moments each day of quiet reflection, meditation, or deep breathing. Step away from noise, digital distractions, and unnecessary activity. Use this time to center your thoughts, evaluate your goals, and reconnect with your purpose. Over time, stillness becomes a habit, a sanctuary, a superpower that shapes every decision, every action, and every achievement. Stillness is not weakness. It is strength. It is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is not inactivity. It is the most active preparation for success, clarity, and personal mastery. When you embrace stillness, you align your mind, body, and spirit. You cultivate focus, emotional control, creativity, and resilience. You prepare yourself to act with intention and precision. When the world rushes past in chaos, you move with power, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. So make stillness a priority. Guard it fiercely. Step away from noise, distraction, and reactive living. Embrace quiet, reflection, and presence. In stillness, you will find clarity. In stillness, find strength. In stillness, you will find the power to master yourself, achieve your vision, and rise above the chaos of 2026 and beyond. The power of stillness is your secret weapon. Use it wisely, practice it daily, and let it transform the way you think, act, and live. When stillness becomes a part of you, nothing in the world can shake your focus, dilute your energy, or derail your path to greatness. In a world driven by instant gratification, immediate results, and constant movement, patience has become a rare and undervalued virtue. Not all patience is created equal. True power lies in strategic patience, the ability to wait with purpose, to act with timing, to prepare for success while the world rushes blindly. Strategic patience is not passive, it is active, intentional, and deliberate. It is the understanding that some things cannot be rushed, that mastery requires time, and that lasting success is built on preparation, not impulse. Strategic patience begins with vision. To wait strategically, you must know what you are waiting for. You must define your goals, your purpose, your desired outcome. Patience without direction is mere procrastination. It is passivity disguised as virtue. But patience guided by strategy allows you to navigate life deliberately, to align your actions with long-term objectives, to resist the temptation of short-term satisfaction. It is the confidence to know that the right time is more powerful than any immediate reaction. The greatest challenges of strategic patience is resisting the urge to act prematurely. Too often, people see an opportunity and rush to grasp it without preparation, without skill, and without insight. They act impulsively, hoping for immediate results, only to discover failure, regret, or wasted effort. Strategic patience teaches you to prepare quietly, to refine your skills, and to strengthen your foundation before taking action. It allows you to cultivate the competence, confidence, clarity necessary to seize opportunities decisively when the moment arrives. Strategic patience is rooted in self-control. It requires the ability to delay gratification, to resist distractions, to stay disciplined even when the world pressures you to move faster than you are ready. It is the understanding that immediate satisfaction is often a trap, false reward that derails your progress and dilutes your potential. By exercising strategic patience, you train yourself to focus on what truly matters, to prioritize long-term outcomes over temporary comfort, and to act with precision rather than impulse. Patience also strengthens your perspective. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and delays. Without patience, these obstacles can become sources of frustration, despair, or impulsive decisions. When you approach life with strategic patience, you recognize that delays are not denials. They are opportunities to learn, to grow, and to prepare. You begin to see the bigger picture, understanding that success is rarely linear and that timing is often the invisible force behind every triumph. Strategic patience allows you to endure, adapt, and persist until the conditions are right for action. Strategic patience is a tool for resilience. Life will test you, but the patient individual endures with focus and determination. By refusing to rush or react impulsively, you conserve your energy, sharpen your skills, and cultivate mental toughness. Challenges become training grounds, obstacles become lessons, and waiting becomes preparation. Resilience is born not from immediate success, but from the ability to navigate delay without losing vision, hope, or determination. Those who master strategic patience are the ones who can endure the storms that destroy the unprepared, unskilled, and impulsive. Timing is another key element of strategic patience. Acting too early can be as dangerous as acting too late. The patient, strategic individual learns to read the signs, assess the conditions, and strike when the moment is most advantageous. This requires observation, analysis, and insight. It requires the discipline to wait while others rush, to prepare while others panic, and to refine while others react impulsively. When the timing is right, action becomes powerful, effective, and unstoppable. Strategic patience transforms waiting into a competitive advantage because you are not idle. You are positioning yourself for maximum impact. Strategic patience also requires faith in your process. There will be moments when it seems like nothing is happening, when progress feels invisible, when the temptation to abandon your path grows strong. Patience guided by strategy requires belief. Belief in your preparation, belief in your vision, belief in the eventual outcome. Faith allows you to endure uncertainty without panic, to maintain focus without distraction, to continue working quietly while others demand immediate results. The patient individual trusts that effort invested today will yield results tomorrow, even if those results are not immediately visible. Another aspect of strategic patience is emotional control. Waiting can trigger frustration, anxiety, and doubt. Tests your confidence, challenges your resilience, and tempts you to react impulsively. Mastering strategic patience means mastering your emotions in the waiting periods. It is the ability to remain calm, focused, and determined. Even when external pressures demand haste, emotional control ensures that when the time to act comes, your response is clear, confident, and decisive rather than reactive, scattered, or weakened by stress. Strategic patience is also a form of self-mastery. It is the conscious decision to prioritize preparation, insight, and timing over immediate reward or external pressure. It requires discipline, focus, courage to resist the noise of the world. The person who practices strategic patience is not passive. They are intentional, deliberate, always moving forward in ways that matter. They understand that success is not a sprint, but a marathon that rewards those who prepare, endure, act with purpose. Finally, strategic patience is a hallmark of those who achieve lasting success. The world may reward speed, impulsiveness, and instant gratification in the short term, but true, enduring achievement belongs to those who combine preparation with timing, vision with endurance, and effort with restraint. Strategic patience transforms waiting from a period of inactivity into a season of growth, skill building, and readiness. When the moment arrives, the patient individual is not only ready, they are unstoppable. So embrace strategic patience. Understand the power of waiting with purpose, of preparing quietly, and of acting decisively when the moment is right. Resist the temptation to rush, to react impulsively, or to chase immediate gratification. Cultivate discipline, emotional control, and faith in your process. Recognize that timing is as important as action, and that preparation amplifies opportunity. Strategic patience is not weakness. It is strength. It is not delay. It is power. By practicing strategic patience in 2026, you position yourself for victories that others will only dream of. You become a force to be reckoned with because your actions are guided by clarity, preparation, and timing rather than reaction. Your life becomes intentional. Your impact becomes undeniable, and your achievements become lasting. Strategic patience turns waiting into preparation, delay into advantage, foresight into unstoppable success. Your voice is more than the sound that escapes your lips. It is the expression of your thoughts, your beliefs, and your influence. It is the instrument through which you inspire, lead, and impact the world. Yet, too many people underestimate the power of their voice. They speak without conviction, hesitate to share their ideas, or allow fear and doubt to silence them. To master yourself in 2026, you must develop an impactful voice, a voice that communicates authority, inspires action, leaves a lasting impression on everyone who hears it. An impactful voice begins with clarity. You must first understand what you want to communicate and why it matters. A voice without direction is noise. It may be heard, but it will not resonate. Clarity ensures that every word you speak carries purpose, every message has meaning, and every expression reinforces your vision. When your thoughts are clear, your voice becomes a powerful tool for influence rather than an empty echo. People are drawn to those who speak with certainty because clarity breeds trust, respect, and credibility. Confidence is another cornerstone of an impactful voice. People listen not only to what you say, but also to how you say it. Your tone, your posture, and your convictions signal authority and assurance. Confidence in your voice conveys that you believe in what you are saying. This belief inspires others to believe as well. An impactful voice does not rely on volume alone. It relies on conviction. It is calm yet commanding, deliberate yet persuasive. Confidence transforms ordinary communication into leadership. Preparation strengthens your voice. The most impactful speakers are not spontaneous, they are deliberate. They know their message, understand their audience, and anticipate questions or objections. Preparation allows you to communicate with precision, to articulate complex ideas simply, and to address challenges with authority. Without preparation, even the most passionate message can falter. With preparation, your voice becomes a vehicle for influence, capable of swaying opinion, inspiring action, leaving an unforgettable mark. Listening is an essential component of an impactful voice. Communication is not just about speaking, it is about understanding. To influence others effectively, you must first understand the perspectives, concerns, and needs. An impactful voice is responsive. It listens, engages, adapts. When you speak from a place of understanding, your words resonate more deeply, your influence expands, and your message is amplified. People are drawn to voices that hear them before telling them what to do. Emotional authenticity amplifies your voice. People connect not just with ideas, with the emotion behind them. When your voice conveys passion, empathy, or conviction, it becomes magnetic. Authenticity is the bridge between your message and your audience. It transforms information into inspiration. Impactful voice does not shy away from vulnerability. It uses emotion strategically to create connection, trust, and influence. People remember not just what you say, but how you made them feel when you said it. Impactful voice requires courage. There will always be voices that oppose yours, doubt your message, or challenge your perspective. To speak with impact, you must overcome fear. Fear of judgment, rejection, or failure. Courage allows you to stand firm in your beliefs, articulate your ideas with authority, persist even when the world resists your message. An impactful voice does not whisper in uncertainty. It speaks boldly, intentionally, and without apology. Consistency is key to building a powerful voice. One speech, one post, or one conversation may inspire momentarily, but lasting impact is built through repeated, deliberate communication. The person with an impactful voice speaks consistently, reinforcing their vision, values, and message across time. Each expression, each interaction, and each statement compounds, creating authority, recognition, and trust. Consistency ensures that your voice becomes a force to be reckoned with, not a fleeting echo lost in the noise of the world. Strategic storytelling elevates your voice. Facts alone rarely inspire, stories do. When you share experiences, lessons, and narratives, your voice becomes relatable, memorable, and persuasive. People remember stories long after they forget facts. By mastering the art of storytelling, you make your voice impactful, capable of shaping opinions, motivating action, and embedding your message deeply in the minds and hearts of your audience. Impactful voice also inspires action. Words without action are empty, but words that move people to act are transformative. When your voice carries purpose, clarity, and conviction, it motivates others to follow, contribute, or change. It creates influence that extends beyond your immediate circle, reaching those who may never meet you but are touched by your message. The power of an impactful voice lies not just in being heard, in moving the world toward your vision. Finally, cultivating an impactful voice is a form of self-mastery. It requires discipline, practice, and intentionality. You must refine your articulation, control your tone, and shape your message. You must align your words with your actions, ensuring that what you say reflects the person you are and the legacy you want to leave. An impactful voice is not a gift, it is cultivated. Product of preparation, awareness, courage, and relentless commitment to influence and inspire. So commit to developing an impactful voice. Speak with clarity, cultivate confidence, prepare intentionally, listen deeply, communicate authentically, speak courageously, share consistently, tell compelling stories, inspire action. Align your words with your purpose. When you master your voice, you master influence. Your ideas resonate, your impact expands, and your presence becomes undeniable. In 2026, your voice can be your superpower. It can command attention, inspire transformation, leave a legacy that endures far beyond the moment. Do not let fear, hesitation, or uncertainty silence you. Speak with authority, purpose, and intention. Let your voice reflect your mastery of self, your clarity of vision, and your unwavering commitment to impact the world. Impactful voice is not merely heard, it changes lives.